Greetings, guardians and fellow citizens of the tower and the last city. Welcome back to another episode of the Friendgame podcast, episode 19.
Holy. 19?
It is I, your host, Alex, and I'm here with the other host, Ian. Yeah, we're on episode 19.
Pog. We're like a hard DDR song now.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh man. Now that I think about, actually, if with with episode 20, that we'll be the first 20 chart. Little
Yikes.
teaser there for you. Anywho, we are back.
What are we talking about, my friend?
Today, we have an episode with the topic of Destiny. But before we get through all that, we're going to tell you, I'm going to tell you to do the YouTube things now as our intro. And then we're going to actually talk about, how our weekends went.
Oh, I forgot. I have a life outside of this podcast. I don't just live in this box. Okay.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I forgot.
So we had a pretty eventful weekend. That's why this podcast is a little late. Ran a D&D session, which is pretty fun.
The homebrew one-shot that I think we briefly talked about in last episode?
Yeah, I believe so.
One or two ago when we were talking about homebrew session stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty fun.
Yeah, it went a little longer than I had expected, but that's what happens.
I think that's usually how it goes. I think it's probably good to like over plan.
Yeah,
because then it's easier to shorten stuff than it is to like come up with the hours worth of shit just like off the top of your head.
Yeah. Was it when it's in a longer base campaign too? Though it's easier to like chunk out because then you can be like, oh, well. You can kind of read the room and be like, well, I can just cut it off here, right? But in a one-shot, you kind of like, you want everything to be done in one sitting. So,
because that's the appeal of a one-shot is like you don't have to commit for too long. So then if like it's a one-shot, but then you make enough for 2 sessions, like you might not ever get to that second half of the stuff.
Yeah.
But then like you said, if it's like you have a group that's committed to like meeting up like twice a month or every other week or whatever it is, you can have 10 hours worth of stuff prepared and just like do 2 hours of it each time.
Yeah.
Because then there'll be natural spots to stop, and then you can just pick up from where you left off because you'll be meeting that whenever that next time is. So yeah, I agree. But it did go a little long. I agree, but it was still fun. So.
I'm glad it turned out fun for everyone. But any other topics? I mean, we've been living here for basically a month now. Our new place.
Yeah.
Now that you think
we just put in the first rent payment in my wallet. Like, fuck! What are you doing? So I had to give away all my money, but it's all right.
That's all right. We continue on living. But enough about our lives. We're going to get on to today's topic. Destiny 2, last week, in the middle of the week, actually revealed the next expansion, which will show up in February. The Witch Queen revealed?
The Witch Queen, yeah. Yep. It's a bit of like a thing in the making. We've known about the villain that is going to show up and be the main antagonist for this expansion. We've kind of known about for a while, and it's kind of been building up to this moment. So it all like the yearly Destiny expansions always get hyped up pretty well, and there's always like a good like momentum of Destiny going into that expansion whatever it is. But this has that added thing on top of it where like, yes, it's a new yearly expansion, so they're going to ramp up and have the trailers come out and have the new stuff teased and all that trailers throughout the year. But it's also like, it feels like the entire Destiny, like the entirety of Destiny 2 has been kind of pushing to this moment as well, not just like this upcoming year or whatever.
Yeah, because even in the reveal, they revealed the last like big expansion for Destiny.
Yeah, they teased the Witch Queen, which is the next one, but then they did like a little mini section in that trailer with it's like the future of Destiny, like a mini roadmap to like what's gonna come like beyond this yearly expansion coming up beginning of next year, and it's like it looks kind of fucking cool. I don't know.
Yeah, because we have the Witch Queen, which is coming out, and then I believe Flightfall is supposed to be after that.
Lightfall, yes.
And then it's
whatever the hell after.
Yeah, because the new one got announced after that too. But this reveal was
it's interesting. I always approach Destiny like releases and trailers and stuff with like a cautious optimism. Like we've heard a lot of other Destiny creators say, we're like, it always looks cool, but then like it's got to deliver too. And like most of the yearly expansions do deliver on the cool factor and on the awesome.
Yeah.
But then you always got to keep in the back of your mind like, all right, the yearly expansion's coming out, and then it's gonna be cool for like what, 2 months, 3 months, and then what?
Right.
So the then what is always like what reins in my optimism a little bit, just because we get into the spot like we are like currently with Destiny, where we're post Beyond Light, we're in the seasonal kind of grind, and like seasonal grind really hasn't changed a whole lot. It's kind of the monotonous do bounties until your head explodes thing. Which is what we're doing right now. So this is like kind of, like inspiring this episode a little bit, but yeah, the yearly expansion looks cool. Got a bunch of like lore related stuff that I don't know if you want to like talk about. There's like the enemies can be guardians now, but we don't really know why.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna be the interesting part. I think season wise, the game has been doing really well on the story front.
That's true. The little lore tidbits that we get throughout the story are interesting. I don't like the last couple of seasons I haven't played, so I just get the lore from the YouTube videos that people make afterwards.
Yeah. Even without like watching the videos, if you had played a bit during the season, you don't even have to play like throughout the entire season. Really, it's just like the story experience from the season itself has been actually really good. I think they've done a really good job at that. I think the overarching issue with that has been has always been like, is there a new seasonal activity and how good is it, right? How enjoyable is it? Because I think we've gotten into that point, and let's take some time to actually like talk about this season, because we are now in the roadmap. We have seen the roadmap to Witch Queen now, right? Because now we're from here on out, from last Tuesday, because that's when the season started, till like middle of February or something like that, is going to be this season up until Witch Queen.
Mm-hmm.
So season is Season of the Lost. We just started. Essentially, we're here with Mara Sov and what's her name?
Savathun.
Yeah, Savathun.
Which is interesting because like I don't know if you've watched one of Dado's recent videos.
Nope.
He talks about like this season is cool because like Mara's back and Savathun is kind of like she's just like here, and we didn't really think that we were gonna like get to interact with her until Witch Queen came out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting because they do the lore dump of like all the Witch Queen stuff, and we see what's gonna happen. Like we're gonna go into Savathun's throne realm and kind of like thwart off all of her champions and like get to fight her presumably at the end.
Yeah.
But then we get the season, and like the events of the season are gonna play out, and then like technically, if you can like put 2 and 2 together, we already know what happens at the end of this season, right? Because we've seen a bit of the trailer for Witch Queen, the big expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a little weird that they're doing it in that way. Like, if they wanted to have the season play out like it is currently, they should have kept more of the big expansion hidden, so it's not like spoiling itself. So it's a little weird, it's a little interesting. They probably have a plan. Obviously, we don't we don't know all of it yet, so like it
Yeah.
might, some things will unfold that will like keep it spicy and keep it interesting for when the expansion comes out. But it was a unique thing that Dado mentioned in his video, and I'm like, yeah, that's like weird that they're like spoiling the main antagonist, like she's here already before the expansion. It's just a little interesting to me.
I think they want to give you an introduction
Yeah.
to her.
Yeah.
And also, I would assume that because she's already been built up as like an antagonist in the like little tidbits of lore that we've had, even like in name mention, everyone's just gonna assume that she's the antagonist anyway. So
Yeah.
it's not really that big of a spoiler if like she shows up, right? Another thing too is, gosh, what was I gonna say? I forgot it. I forgot what else I was gonna say.
I kind of derailed the conversation again. We were going to talk about the thing that makes the season like good or bad for the most part is like the seasonal activity, because there's always like a new one for each season that comes out. So we can talk about what the new seasonal activity is for this one. There's actually like two kinda that we get to do now that are kind of interesting.
Yeah. Was it well, I'll start off by saying that I believe it was last season we got a story, like story quest kind of like mission in the middle of the season, whereas in this one we actually got it right away. So we have a 6-player seasonal activity, and then we also have a up to 3 players like story mission and like explorable area that pertains to whatever's going on during that week of the season. Your thoughts on the 6-player activity? I mean,
Astral alignment is what it's called.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think it's like, I think it's pretty fun because like something that I kind of complain about a lot is like the game is just like easy. And I think they've nailed like the enemy density in the activity is actually pretty good. Like the best part about Destiny is getting to shoot stuff and like use your abilities and like super and like make a bunch of orbs and blow stuff up. And if there's just like each ad spawn is like 2 guys, then you're like, oh, I just like shoot my hand cannon twice and then I sit here for 30 seconds.
Right.
So I think the enemy density and like the spawns are good. I just like feel like I get to kill stuff all the time, which is just fun. And it's kind of hard to tell because I don't know if you know this, even one of the events is bugged, so we even don't get one of the events in the activity. There's
really?
There's a Scorn Ether one. It's kind of like the public event where you have to like stop the ether from flying through the air by shooting it before it gets to the thing. If you've done it the last 2 weeks, you like don't get that event because it's bugged right now. So they're trying to fix it before you can even guess. You get like the taken essence thing where you like get the thing and you deposit it, or you do the batteries, and that's all you can do right now. So once they fix that, I'd like have more of an opinion about it. But like for now, the events are like unique and interesting enough, and the enemy density is good. Where like I am not bored while I'm doing it. My only complaint is that like it kind of takes a little bit.
Yeah, it takes a little bit.
Like it's a long activity, and then you get like a chest at the end of it. So it's kind of fine. But I think the other thing, the Shattered Realm like story mission kind of dealio, I think that's pretty fun just because that like area you get to explore is pretty cool. So
yeah, I like the exploration. I like how they kind of made it out of like the other maps, but also at the same time not really. Like
yeah, it has like bits and pieces of like other locations that are all kind of like corrupted and like broken apart and stuff. That's why it's called like the Shattered Realm, because like the landscape itself is literally just like shards and pieces of other parts of things, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, what I really like about how they did that was that it's not that they just like copied and pasted that's that like portion of the map. It's that they used like a like scenic focal point about that place, and then they used that one thing but everything else around it is like not the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just because like the example is like there's the one like the clock tower in Trostland, the one Earth location, and then
Yeah.
like it's just like that like aesthetic, and it's kind of like floating there, all like corrupted and shit.
Yeah.
And then like the rest of the area around it is unique too.
Yeah.
So that is cool.
Was it the 6-man activity? I forgot that I had actually even like gotten to play that before it was like considered bug.
Yeah, the like the Ether
Yeah,
public
the
event
ether.
type.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I haven't done that at all. I just like seen it. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And then like in the video I was watching, is like, yeah, you like don't get this activity right now. I'm like, oh, that's kind of sucks. But
Yeah. Yeah, I totally forgot that I had played that on day one and then just haven't seen it since. So, um, yeah, and then the Shattered Realm you did this week's too.
I did, yes.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I like that we've like as the weeks go on too, we're kind of like seeing more about the Shadow Realm because like last week I was looking up at the place that we are this week and I was like, wait, what is that?
Yeah, how do we even get up there? And then
Yeah.
we actually like get to this week because it kind of like I'm like on the fence on like the time gate bullshit because
Yeah.
like I don't want to have to like wait to do shit if I have like the time to like grind shit and do all the exploration like at once. Like I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
The time like but Destiny's been time gating stuff since fucking the first mission, so like it's like I'm used to it. It's fine. I know they're gonna do it. But like if I had a choice, I'd rather just like have the option to do a bunch of it if I wanted to.
Yeah, I think the downside is that it is time gated. The upside though is that was that when we go back to those areas, we'll have like the different like ability unlocks to like interact with the environment compared
Yeah,
to
it does give you time to do the grind in between.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess is an upside because like if it was all unlocked all at the start, you would still not be able to access all of it on day one anyway because you would have to grind for whatever.
Yeah.
So
was the artifact this season? Thoughts on the artifact this season?
I think it's fucking cool. I like the fact that I can use fusion rifles and it's not a troll.
Yeah,
we've never used fusion rifles in like as like the PvE meta for raids and shit, and now they're just gonna be like actually the best thing for like 6 months, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
until the season changes.
Yeah, I'd say that this season's got some weird weapon choices for the other mods, but I'd say that like the standout for sure, the top tier and best thing about this season has been the fusion rifle mods, because we haven't seen fusion rifles be useful in a really long time. I think since what was that fusion rifle again?
I mean, like the only fusion rifles that I remember using and like not get someone question mark pinging me is fucking 1,000 voices and loaded question is the ones I was gonna mention. Yeah, because they were like 1,000 voices, one of the best heavy weapons for AOE and boss DPS, and then loaded question was a special weapon that had a perk that at that time was unique to like loaded question was the only weapon that had that perk, and that was reservoir burst, where it had like the big AOE like explosion blow up thing.
Yeah.
And that was the reason to use it because it was really good like add clear AOE damage. So now other fusion rifles have that now, so it's not unique to that anymore. But
yeah,
because you can roll that perk on everything now, just all fusion rifles are pretty good, and the mods on top of it. So.
I think that's still a pretty unique fusion rifle like perk. I think the only other fusion that can roll it right now is the plug one, which is the nightfall weapon.
Oh, or I guess then null composure was the pinnacle, right?
Yeah.
That
was the pinnacle of last season, I believe. Fusions in general just like feels a lot better. I've heard that linear fusions are making a comeback too with boss damage because you have the particle disassembler mod and then you can apply that with any fusion, and then you can switch to a linear fusion to hit crit spots and do.
Oh, man, it's a team buff too, so that's really good.
Yeah. So, this season's artifact, I'd say that it's been pretty good so far. I wish some of the like other there's a couple of mods in the later tiers that I don't find super duper useful, but that's probably because I don't do Grandmaster Nightfalls and stuff. So
yeah, I like there's one other one that I've been playing around with. It's the I don't remember what it's called, but it's Solar and Stasis Melee's stun overloads.
Yeah.
And when you get the proc on it, it refunds your melee energy. And I like to play like Sunbreaker, Melting Point, just in PvE all the time anyway. So like I can actually like use that, and it's like good.
Right.
The only thing though is like when I shoulder charge overloads to stun them, it sometimes just like doesn't stun them, and then I'm just in melee range, and they fucking melee me, and I die. So hopefully that gets fixed, so like it's actually good, because like I shoulder charge them, and I like get out of the animation and switch to something, and then I die.
Yeah,
because it doesn't actually stun them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's like I'm bad, or like it just like literally I just like it doesn't stun them. So I don't know if it's bugged or whatever. But
yeah, I'm not entirely sure how that entire mechanic works either. Current state of Destiny, though. Say, this season, if you were looking into playing Destiny, you should honestly play it. This is
there's
a get into it.
It's a good season to get into. It's still the same. Like if you want to like go for master raids or grandmaster nightfalls, you're gonna have to grind those bounties like you have had to historically. But that's not like you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that, and we're only doing it because we're stupid. So.
But yeah, I'd say that if you were looking to play Destiny this season, you should definitely do it, especially before the major expansion, because you'll get some you'll get the taste of the gameplay loop and some of the seasonal events that happen throughout as well, because we're supposed to get, I believe, Halloween soon here.
Yeah. Coming up soon here. It's September 1st at the time of recording, so everyone has a fucking pumpkin in their ass now.
Yeah,
I'm like people who think that today marks the start of Halloween season should just like be thrown off a bridge or something.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not part of that crowd. The first day of fall isn't until the 22nd, so at least start it then. You guys are fucking psychopaths.
I'm going to cut this all out.
No, don't leave it in. I want people to hate me.
You're an ass. All right.
I know. It's okay. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, we're Destiny players. Yeah, me being an ass is not a surprise. Yeah, we're going to get the Halloween event in Destiny. It's going to be super fun. I'm going to get to wear a mask. Maybe I can wear a Savathun mask and be spoopy. Right? Alex?
Yeah, man. Gosh. Destiny's doing great.
Yeah.
Destiny's doing what Destiny needs to do. And I think it's still the biggest looter shooter out there. So.
Yeah. The only gripe that I think I have with it is just like the having to do bounties is still just kind of lame. But
yeah,
that's the only the way to get the number to go up, and the light number is still just like arbitrary. You need it to do high level stuff, which is kind of lame.
Yeah, it's.
But our raid mates want to do the master version of the raid, so we have to just grind bounties.
Yeah, I think. So, was it I think that throughout this past year, right? Let's talk about this past year of Destiny 2 then. Throughout this past year, I would say that they've actually done a pretty good job at like keeping the light cap decently stable. You know what I mean? Because like the last like the previous years would be like, oh, new season's coming up. Hey, guess what? There's like 50 light level increase. And now instead of spending, you know, maybe a week to just like enjoy the season, now you're spending it sitting in the Strike playlist or sitting in the Crucible playlist, just like getting blues to have to as fodder.
That experience definitely is more streamlined and just better. I do agree.
Yeah, because even for the Vault of Glass day one, like it wasn't even that big of a deal because the light cap only went I think up to like 20 levels or something like that. So it's like, yeah, you still had to like make sure that you were kind of playing the game before that came out, but even then it wasn't like it's not like when a new expansion comes out and you have to level up and then go ahead and get the new light cap to hit the day one raid and stuff like that. But they've been doing such a like way better job at just making sure that people's time is like the use of time is much better and people aren't just like staying up for, you know, like 50 hours.
Yeah, the going into expansion day one experience is way better. I agree as well.
Yeah.
It's because like the last couple have been like bad. Like Last Wish was really bad.
Yeah.
And yeah. So. But yeah, it is a good time to get into Destiny. It's still really fun. This season actually brought a lot of like. Obviously, it's a new season, so there's new guns and stuff. But there's a lot of new perks that are actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
They're getting like ever since they did the thing where like damage and reload perks kind of aren't just like the you want outlaw kill clip on every gun ever, and they kind of they switched their philosophy on how they made perks for weapons and stuff. They've been really creative recently, and all the weapons like on the new weapons for the new season are really cool. So I would suggest giving those a shot just because those are going to be the ones that if you want to get into the expansion for the Witch Queen, a lot of the like good weapons you're gonna want for that are gonna be like new ones with new perks. So it's good to like familiar yourself with those like now, so it's less to learn when the big content drop happens, because there's gonna be more when that drop happens also. So
yeah, cool thing about this season too is that a lot of the like old guns that you from this past year you can still get. Anything that's released within this like last year of seasons you can still get, which is great. I think that's pretty good because, you know, you might have missed out on like Deafening Whisper, which was a grenade launcher from like the beginning of the year season, and hey, guess what? You can still go and get it.
Yeah, because even like the Null Composure, the good fusion rifle we were talking about, was a last season thing, and I got mine like a couple of days ago. So like I didn't miss out on that, which is nice because FOMO in games sucks, so I'm glad I at least get to do that.
Yeah, you know, Destiny shooting mechanics are still really good. They've been reworking some of the subclasses as well.
Yeah, actually they're doing
this last even this last season they made some tweaks of numbers and stuff on how some of the subclasses and stuff work.
Well, yeah, because like Middle Tree Sunbreaker for Titan is one of the best boss DPS classes right now, and that hasn't always been the case. And they recently said too, I don't know if this is coming with Witch Queen or if it's coming in like a patch before that or not, but they're doing the like a big Void subclass overhaul.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is going to be pretty interesting. So.
Yeah, they've done a lot actually within this last year. They've just made the game a lot better. Yeah. I've always tried to. Anytime a new season comes around, like play it for at least about a month or something, see how I feel about it, and then go from there. But so far this entire year has been pretty good. I've been enjoying.
Yeah, I always have like a love-hate relationship because whenever someone asks like, "Oh, you play Destiny? Is it good? Do you like it?" I'm like, I mean, I'm a Destiny player, yeah, but like, just because of like it's fun and the world is so interesting and the characters are really cool and all the aesthetics are awesome, but then I like play the game and I'm like, okay, but like why am I playing the game? Kind of thing. And it like that I've kind of lost that mentality as time has gone on, just because, you know, they've kept making it better over time and stuff. So like I used to say like I mean, like I've played Destiny, but I don't know if I'm like a Destiny player. But no, I wouldn't say that. I would say yeah, Destiny's fun. You got to be in like I still have to be in like the mood to grind stuff,
Yeah.
but I have that with RuneScape too, and I play the shit out of that. So
Well, I guess the overarching question then is what do you think Destiny would need to change in order to get your attention more then?
that's a great question. I guess the way I would answer that question is I would first think about other games that I play that I like thoroughly enjoy and what those games have that Destiny doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I'll use a RuneScape example just because that's the game we've been playing a lot of recently. In RuneScape, everything you do like has meaningful progression. Like literally no matter what you do, you're progressing your character, and that's not always the case in Destiny. You can get like you can do 10 powerfuls and get unlucky and get 0 drops that are useful.
Yeah.
Which feels really bad. And that's, obviously getting 10 drops that are useless is unlikely, but like even this week I've done, 3, 4, 5 powerfuls on my Titan, and I've gone up like 1 or 2 light on 1 or 2 slots.
Mm.
And like that's it.
Yeah.
So that sucks. If there was a way to like obviously like just giga power leveling everybody isn't good either, because then that just makes progression useless. But making the RNG protection like not feel as bad to where like I do 4 powerfuls and get like like 0.1 light levels basically because I level up one slot and that's it. Really bad. So if that could get fixed, that would be awesome because that just makes progression feel better.
Yeah.
So that's I guess like where I would start. It's just it just feels really bad when you just like I grinded out 3 strikes and 3 crucible matches and it literally meant nothing.
Yeah. I'd say that for me it would be in kind of an overhaul to how light works, because I think we're kind of in a like day and age where the whole was it hey, you kill something, you get like 10, like a billion, like a billion drops that you can get is kind of like over, where I would much rather have a more a chance at like more focused kind of things. And they've done it like they've introduced like umbrella engrams and stuff like that, but
makes the RNG for like the drops you want a little less.
Yeah. But I just think that I honestly just think that like the light number is kind of useless now.
Yeah.
It's an arbitrary number that doesn't really matter. If we can find a way to like change something, change that to something else, or maybe that's what like they're trying to set up for in the future, so that we can just like get rid of this number and then do something else with it. I don't know.
Yeah, because the difficulty of just like the raid is harder because the things one shot you is not fun. It's not interactive difficulty. That's just like, all right, if my light's low, I die, and that's not interactive. So
yeah, and like
it's hard. It's hard because like designing whole raids with like a bunch of different types of players in mind obviously is hard.
Yeah.
So like making it harder via just like the numbers game is the easier fix, because just like I don't know. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that my problem with how light level works is because in other MMOs there is gear score, but generally when you do the highest content you can get to the highest gear score, right? And I think that was a bad impression from Destiny 1, because Destiny 1 was very like loot limited, whereas in Destiny 2 it's still like we're still following essentially the same rules of how loot works, where like you can just get unlucky, like like you said, where you just get unlucky and it's like, oh well, guess I just like don't go up in light today or this week, and it's the same feeling that we got back in like year 1 of Destiny 1 still, where you can just be like, oh well, guess I just don't get anything this week.
Yeah.
Like,
And like I think that would feel less bad if the things I was trying to do in the end game were not time gated.
yeah. I also think that even just like, I think that there isn't enough like true end game content for people.
Yeah.
Like of all kinds, really. Like you have solo players, you have groups, stuff like that, but like there isn't enough there to entice people to even want to attempt harder content and stuff like that. So
it's not like I just thought of this now, like the light level being like hard to get to and like having to grind to being unlucky is fine. If like if you're trying to do the Master Vogue in the season, you have to do it in the season. So you have to, if you're unlucky and you get your light gains get postponed by 2 weeks, by 3 weeks, it actually sucks. But like if you're trying to do like, oh, I'm trying to do like challenge mode Chambers of Xeric, it's okay if I like take a week to get my melees up because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's not the case in Destiny. Your shit, like, you gotta fucking go because like the season's gonna be done and then you're not gonna be able to do it because the raid's gonna go away or the challenges are not gonna be available or whatever.
Yeah, like your power level is gonna reset, right? Because
the power level is gonna reset. My artifact isn't gonna be leveled anymore after the season. Like there's all these things that I have to rush to do because it's gonna go away.
Yeah.
In other games, they just don't do that. Like it's okay if I take 2 weeks to like even if it's like I didn't get unlucky. It's just like I don't play the game for a week. Like that. If you're trying to do Master Vogue at the end of the season, you can't not play for a week.
Yeah.
Like, and or if you get unlucky for a week, you like have to fucking play your ass off.
Yeah.
And get all your pinnacles on all 3 characters and do all this shit. Where in like RuneScape, I could be like, yeah, I just like won't raid, and then next week I can, and it's fine.
Well, even in some other MMOs, like you're not forced in that like upkeep, right? Because we've talked about Final Fantasy 14, where you don't have to have that upkeep, right? You can grind up to whatever the raid level is, do your raids, and then be like, oh well, this week I just don't feel like raiding. Cool, because you already the raid's not going anywhere. The gear level of that either isn't going anywhere, right? Whereas Destiny is always like going forward. Your armor's never gonna always stay relevant. Your weapons are always never gonna like you can have a good weapon, but how long that light level isn't gonna matter in the next season, right?
It just sucks that like if raids didn't go away and the raid challenges didn't go away, it's like it would be totally fine.
Yeah, I
but
think
the fact that I like if you wanted to do Petra's run and you're like, oh, I didn't want to do it, and it was like, fucking, I had a week to do it. Like I want to do it like now. You like literally can't.
Yeah.
Like because it doesn't matter.
I think I think my big issue too is that there's no rewards for going back and doing old raids. What people would say is, oh, the reward is like whatever loot is there, but it's like I don't get anything. There's nothing that's like upkeep in this season, and I think from what we heard is that they're trying to change that with the next season, where they're gonna have like rotating raids just like come back, which is cool. That's actually a really cool concept because Destiny actually has a lot of raids that we could like go back and do and get stuff from.
But my argument is like, if you're gonna have rotating raids, that means they're all in the game. Why not just have them all in the game all the time then? At that point,
right? But usually people will people will only pick whatever the relevant one is, right?
Make them all relevant.
One thing at a time here for them.
Make them all relevant. If they're all rotating in the game, then they're all in the game. Just put them all in the game.
This will be another case of moments of triumph raids from Destiny 1. With the relevant raid is the one with like the power drops and stuff. Remember that?
That I actually didn't mind because like that was just like there was like the weekly story mission and shit where you would get whatever from it. But in that case, even if it wasn't the featured raid of the week, you could still do all of them.
Yeah.
So do that. Put that in Destiny 2. Because that was fine. Because like if the featured raid was Wrath of the Machine and that's where you got your power, like your pinnacle drops, all right, fine, cool. But then if I want to do the other ones too, then put them in the game. Because then at least like they're not going to be powerful drops, but like I don't have Vex Mythoclast in D1 yet, so I could still go and like try and get it.
Right.
Kind of thing. So I don't know.
I'm sure there's a lot of other things that they're trying to play around, like game space,
yeah,
what their servers can hold, stuff like that.
Yeah,
All those, a lot of the back end stuff that we don't really.
Yeah, like I said, it's probably way harder than we always make it sound, but like RuneScape's never deleted content, and it's fucking 14 years old. Yeah. Like,
but that is like the ideal situation of if Destiny could do that. I do think though, like overall, Destiny is headed in the right direction for the next year.
Yeah,
which is good.
That's like how we said it's a great time to be a Destiny player, and then we still found something to complain about. My bad.
I mean, we're talking from people who have like been with the franchise since its beginning, essentially.
Yeah.
So
we both started playing in year one. So
because I started playing in week 1, and you played in year 1 as well. So it's like we've been around for a while.
Well, actually. It doesn't matter. Whatever.
Played in year 1.
What was this? What marked the start of year 2?
Marked the start of year 2. Was Taken King?
Dang! Wow, I thought that was like later.
Yeah, Taken King was when I made the jump from PS3 to PS4.
Yeah. So yeah, I was definitely playing before Taken King.
Yep. So. Yeah, I mean, Destiny's doing all right. It'll have its resurgence when Witch Queen comes out. Right now, I say it's a good time because it's a new season, first off, and it's a lead up to a big expansion. So it's like you get two good things: new season start, which means that everyone's kind of fresh and new to the season, and then you're on the roadmap to the next expansion, which means that
get back in the swing of playing before the big stuff. Yeah.
You'll either get back in the swing of things, or you'll be introduced to all the things before you start the next expansion. And there's a lot to do.
Or you'll decide you don't like the game and that you won't have to spend money in the expansion. You'll just figure it out now instead of later.
Yeah, I mean, since the game is free to play, like you can just jump in and try it out too, which is honestly pretty cool. Like. There's not a lot of other games that you could say that. Where it's like, another thing about this season that we forgot to mention: crossplay. Crossplay is in the game.
Big Pog Jam,
which is awesome and pretty crazy. So to think that this game now has crossplay. So you got a couple of friends who are like thinking about playing Destiny. Hey, guess what? Destiny's free to play and now it's crossplay.
Yeah, so now you can carry your console nerds on PC if you're a true game. You're a true gamer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that is a really good point though. Crossplay just makes it way more accessible for everybody, and way more accessible for people to play with friends, which is the best way to play a game. Is Friendgame podcast. Shout out # sponsor.
Don't you mean shameless plug?
Shameless plug.
Yes. Yeah. Destiny has a lot of content. Definitely give it a shot if you haven't. Crossplay is now a thing, so now it makes it even easier for you to play with your friends or with other people in general. The population is now just like big for everyone because now you can just play with everyone, which is great. But yeah, I think that's everything that we want to talk about for Destiny.
Yeah, I think so. I'll be interested to. This was good for us to do this episode now, because then I'm gonna be interested in like I'm gonna come and re-listen to this again in a couple of months when the season's kind of wrapping up to see like if our opinions about it have changed at all. So
Changed, yeah.
if stay tuned, because I would be interested, Alex. I don't know about you, doing another Destiny themed episode kind of close to the end of the season, or like when Witch Queen comes out and we've had some time with that to see if the things that we thought were going to change today actually do in the future. So
Yeah, I
stay
think
tuned for that. Stay tuned for that.
I think a Witch Queen episode would be good. Was it like do it maybe second week of the expansion coming out or something like that? Because that would be a good reflection on whether or not this, like everything we talked about in here, has changed at all.
Yeah, and we should be getting more content from Bungie too as the months go on here, because we just got the season dropped and they did like the big reveal trailer, but I'm sure there's gonna be some teasers and spatterings of stuff throughout the next couple of months.
There's supposed to be a new exotic, like there's an exotic quest that's supposed to happen here soon, so there's that. I mean, we're getting more story through the Shadow Realm as well. And then it seems like the weekly or the seasonal activity, the 6-man seasonal activity, has been rotating through different bosses. So
yeah.
Be...
More things to discuss on the Destiny front coming up soon, I am sure.
Maybe it'll be more exciting. You'll hear more enthusiasm from Ian.
Probably not. This is just my face.
Anywho, is there any random things you want to discuss? How did the cast go today? You had
doing well. Yep.
League
I don't
of
know
Legends
if
cast.
we've mentioned in the past. I've picked up doing some more League of Legends casting. If people are interested in watching, it is Conduit Esports on Twitch and Twitter. If you feel like watching some, or Conduit Esports is the team that plays in the Blue Otter League. If anyone is familiar with that, it's just like an amateur esports org that does tournaments and stuff. So I've been doing that. Week 3.
3 today. Right.
Week 3 today. Conduit Esports is 3-0 in series.
Ooh,
so
nice.
pretty good team, pretty fun players to watch. Actually, where my co-caster and I are basically laughing the whole time when we're doing the game, just because it's pretty wild. So
yeah, pretty entertaining.
That's a lot of fun. You could also, if you wanted to do less work, you could also just follow my Twitter, because then I just post the link to the stream. Anyway. Yep. So, hint, hint, wink, wink, shameless plug, back to back. Hashtag ad.
Hashtag ad. Yeah. Random thing I'll say is I played Genshin today on stream.
Ooh.
I actually streamed a month and a half, after the last time I streamed, essentially, which is hilarious. But I played Genshin. Anytime they come out with a new place to explore, it's always so interesting.
That's half the fun of that game, just exploring.
Yeah. So when they initially launched Inazuma, I thought, oh, we're gonna get the island nation, right? And that's it. Well, guess what? This patch, they released another island. So there's another island out in
Guam?
Yeah, even further out from
Nice.
where Inazuma is. That is just it looks like it's been hit by a meteor. So it's the center of the island is just carved out. And there's mountains raising up it's been hit by a meteor. But what's also cool is that there's just shards of earth floating in the air, and it's the electricity in the air that's keeping it there and together.
So it's Breath of the Wild 2. Got it.
I mean, yeah,
Got it.
but
yep, makes sense.
But
yep.
it was really really cool to me because like we actually like got to traverse that upper area as well. And that was really
Got it.
cool.
It's the European aerial zone. Got
Way to make a Destiny reference out of it.
it. Hey.
Uh,
It's funny because the European area zone fucking sucks.
that was not a good area. Jeez. Yeah, then the 2 new characters also came out, and I rolled for those 2. I got both of them.
You're fucking cool.
Raiden Shogun is great. I haven't had any time to actually like raise any of them or do anything with them yet because I spent all of my resources on Yoimiya, but we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, that's the cycle of gacha, though.
That is. Although I'm enjoying this more because now there's like more things for me to like go and explore, and that's like the appeal of playing Genshin anyway, right? Is to explore the world. So they've actually done a really good job with this last patch and how they've been doing their patch cycles. So
That's good. More good games is good for other good games. So
what else is there? I've been playing a Toho Pokemon game.
I heard you talking about that.
Yeah, I've been playing that. It's been really fun actually, because I haven't played a Pokemon game since like Diamond and Pearl. So it's been a while. But playing a Toho themed one is fun. It's enjoyable. I'm enjoying figuring out type weaknesses, and then I have friends who like played Pokemon competitively, so it was funny to see their reactions to it.
Of like how similar some of the gameplay is and shit.
Yeah, and like how different some of the game systems are. Since in Pokemon, you have the EVs and IVs from like breeding and training your Pokemon.
Oh, do they have an equivalent game?
Yeah. Instead, they have your characters in the Toho version earn points as you battle, and you can spend those points on like upping their stat, like the specific stats you want. So you're not essentially rolling a die like you are in Pokemon.
Yeah, it's like more controlled version of that system.
Yeah, there's more control. I hear that in the late game, from what I heard from review, was that you can essentially like reset your Pokemon's like back to level 1, but you can also like change their like their random the random grade to their stats to match what your starter is, because your starter will always start with all S's in their stats.
Oh, I see.
So then like you'll then be able to like, if you decide to go and play competitively with it, you can then
so like it's more grind, but then it unlocks like the upgraded like better version of stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Another cool thing is that in Pokemon, you have each one has their like specific typings, right? In this game, they have like what they call styles, and the styles can change will change their stats, move lists, and also can potentially change their typings, which is really interesting. So all of a sudden, this like grass type changes to a fire lightning type for some reason, but
it's like more mixing and matching and
yeah,
strategizing that you can do. That's interesting.
Yeah. But it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm also a Toho fan, so
nerd.
Yeah. What's another thing? I've been itching to play Risk of Rain.
Yeah, we should play that tomorrow.
Game's fun. I want to get more people into it too.
Hey guys, play Risk of Rain 2. It's fun.
It's a
Smile.
fun game. Yeah, smile.
This podcast is not sponsored by the makers of Risk of Rain 2, but it could be. So, you know where to find us. Hit us up.
Oh, one last thing. We played the Arkham Horror card game, Finally.
We did play that game finally. Yeah, that was a fun game.
I was gonna say, what are your thoughts?
It was. I was like when we first started playing it, I was like, all right, this is like kind of whatever. But as we like got into it more and I was understanding the rules and like how everything was going, it felt like a card game, which is what I like.
Yeah.
I was able to like, oh wait, I have like this synergy that I could do where I can discard a thing to like untap a thing, and then one of my abilities allowed me to like there was like a triggered ability to where like whenever I would investigate something, I could return something from my discard, so then I could from my graveyard, so I could discard it again. So I like doing like synergies and like loops and stuff like that is like why I like Magic, because like building a deck and synergizing and having all these moving parts that work together is like cool.
Yeah.
And getting to do that in that game was pretty cool too. So
yeah, like that was like the big reason why I really wanted to play the game, was because it is a card game, but you're also playing, you know, you're also still playing that like Eldritch Horror or Mansions of Madness kind of feeling with it, right? So it's cool that game still has like all those cool kind of like card synergies you can figure out, while also keeping to that sort of theme.
Yeah.
And like board game like feel, right?
Yeah, I liked the card pool in just like the base set is like pretty big. So like the beginning part where you like pick your character and then you have your restrictions on your decks, then you get to make your deck and stuff. I liked doing that, and that's where I feel like a lot of like the replayability can come in, because like as I play the game more, I notice like what's good and what's not so good for the character that I'm playing.
Yeah.
So I can change what my deck does, and I can just like get better at that part of the game, which is another part of why I like Magic, where like it's basically like sideboarding, where you get to like choose what to put in, what to take out, kind of thing, and that's fun to do too. So I liked that part.
Yeah, and that like that progresses as you play the campaign too, because since it's broken up into like essentially episodes, you're like, oh, in between the next episode, you're like, well, this one didn't, you know, this card didn't really do anything, but I have now this XP to spend on this card to replace it, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I'm glad I picked the character that I did, that he gets to take cards from other classes, so like I get the option to select synergies that I wouldn't normally get to pick with the character that I'm playing, with the character class, because like I forget what the classes are, but I'm the red class and I have like purple and orange cards in my deck too, so like I get to do some other stuff that you usually shouldn't be able to, which is fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it. We'll play more of it, I'm sure.
Bet.
That game's a lot of fun, and I yearn to play it more, because it just sounds like a game that I would enjoy a lot. So
plus there's a lot of content for it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just got done with the recent cycle, because the Innsmouth Conspiracy, I believe, was the recent cycle, and it just got done or something like that. So
it's just such a cool world too. Like Lovecraftian horror is just like
Lovecraftian horror is so cool.
The mythos is like there's a lot in it, so it's pretty interesting.
Yep.
Sucks that H.P. Lovecraft was a cockbag, but whatever.
That's not what we remember.
We remember the tentacles and shit. Wait, what?
What?
What? Quick, end the episode.
Anywho, that's it. That's all we have today for the I almost said Lovecraftian.
It was not a Lovecraft episode. Quick.
For the Friendgame Destiny focused podcast. You know, we spent this last like 10 minutes talking about other things, but it was fairly Destiny focused. You know, do the YouTube thing is going to be just the new saying that I say to Ian, or say because if I say anything else, he'll cringe. But you know, if you play Destiny, why do you still play it? If you have any answers to the question that I also asked of, you know, what do you think it needs to change to get your attention more? Like, go ahead and leave it in the comments below, and you know, maybe we'll talk about it next time. I've been your host, Alex, with my other host, Ian, and we'll see you on episode 20.
Bye.